Welcome to Planning Commission tonight. It's August 12th. We have 5 commissioners present. Commissioner Hamuli, present in the building. We have Commissioner Hamuli, Commissioner Gedabor, Commissioner Adams, myself, Commissioner Beecher, Commissioner Johnson, and Commissioner Frisbee. And then online, we have Commissioner... Geez, my brain went down. It just shut off. Brinkerhoff. I was going to say Commissioner Camry, but that wouldn't have been quite right. So
I'll answer to anything. It's fine.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're okay with my stumble there, Camry. So, Commissioner Hamuli, can I get you to give us an invocation? Thank you.
Kind Father in heaven, we're grateful for this chance to be in Planning Commission. Grateful to welcome Commissioner Johnson to join us, and for also this chance we have to serve the citizens of Payson. Pray that might bless us, that our discussions might be useful to continuing to see Payson grow. We love you very much and ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. We're to item 3, consent agenda, approval of the minutes for the meeting of July 22nd. Did everybody have a chance to review those and look at them? Any questions, comments, corrections? I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda from the minutes of July 22nd.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second it. I have a motion and a second. All in favor by yes? Yes.
Yes.
Oops, we got to do it.
Yes.
Online. I'll do it by roll call because we got one online. So Commissioner Hamuli.
Yes.
Gedabor. Yes. Adams. Yes. Johnson.
Yes.
Frisbee.
Yes.
Brinkerhoff.
Yes.
Beecher. Yes. Okay. It's all unanimous. Public forum. This is an opportunity for the public to speak to us about anything that they would like to talk to us about. Any takers on that? Nobody online? There was a Titus.
Yeah, I'm here for the regulator station facility, representing Enbridge Gas.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Sounds good. No issues there. We'll move to item 5, which is an action item. This is the review of the conditional use permit for Enbridge Gas Regulating Station. Titus, I assume you're the one that is submitted that application, and for Enbridge Gas Company. And they want a conditional use for a natural gas regulation facility at approximately 1498 South, 1700 West. Is that address correct? Because when I threw that into Google, it gave me an address north of...
Yeah. I mean, my understanding is it's technically 1496 South, 1700 West.
Okay.
But yeah, the address of the Christian Life Church is 1498 South, 1700
Okay.
West.
Well, that's what I thought. And so when I threw it into Google, I was a little surprised that it gave me an address that wasn't even close. So that just is Google. So not a problem.
Yeah, it gets confused between the Payson City Road and the county road, I think.
Yeah, probably so. Jonathan, are you gonna give us anything, Michael? Or
You're totally on your own, but I'll share something if you'd like.
okay.
So I did not prepare a presentation for this. I'm going to show you the proximity of the location. We'll go through the staff report, address any questions you may have.
Okay.
Titus shared with me a limit of disturbance that I can share with you as well if you want to see that. Because in the staff report, it really was just a big blocked off area to try to show you what the vicinity was. It wasn't intended to be what they're going to disturb. So we'll definitely look at that as well. So if you're looking on the screen here, you can see I-15. You can see MTech is right here. This road where my cursor is that 1700 West, and approximately where the cursor is now, as we zoom in, is going to be the location. So you can see Christian Life Church here, and it is intended to be right in this vicinity.
Okay.
Okay. Let me share a little bit on the site plan, limit of disturbance, things like that, and then we can go into the staff report. So where you see here, this is the existing church building now. This is the retaining wall there in front of the church with the creek channel. And this is the easement area in orange, and in the red line is where the fencing for the gas regulator station will be. And then the structure will be inside that fenced area. Any questions about that?
So is this all on the existing easement, right? Or this is, so it's
Correct.
property as part of that existing easement?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
That was my question, is why just an easement when this is 100% used and cannot be used by the landowner? But that's up to them. So.
And I don't have an answer for that other than that it's a perpetual easement in favor of, I believe it's Questar or Enbridge now, gas company. So. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't
still-
provide any details to that either. The land was already secured when I was brought in. I was just asked to help design and get the facility permitted and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I just,
sometimes they buy fee property, sometimes they do exclusive easements. I don't know if it was, the preference of Christian Life's church to have an easement over selling off a piece of their property. Maybe it was so they didn't have to subdivide it. I couldn't say, but yeah, it was already done when I got involved. So.
yeah, I understand the easement's been there for quite a while, so.
So this is a site plan. This was in your packets. You can see the 1700 West there to where the cursor is. Zooming in, you can see that they will do the improvements to the curb gutter sidewalk. They'll have a drive approach, and the structure is actually going to be quite a ways off of the road here where my cursor is. Let's see, do we have I thought I had another thing pulled up, but maybe I don't. Let me see if I can grab it. So this is sample fencing of what it's intended to look like on the exterior of the surrounding area of the site, something to this effect. And then the building is a pretty simplistic looking building, pretty typical of what they put in all of these types of facilities. And I'll show you that one here. So something to that effect. So the reason why we're here tonight is because these types of facilities are a conditional use permit. And conditional use permits are something that is a land use decision by the planning commission, meaning that you will actually make a decision here and it's not passed on to city council or any other entity.
Right.
One thing I would just note that conditional use permit is not site plan approval. So they'll still have to confirm with staff and do the site plan approval process to make sure that everything meets standards and connecting to any utilities. Those sort of things are all done according to Payson City standards. So the purpose here would be to reduce or mitigate any detrimental effects that a conditional use could have. For example, this type of facility. The applicant has shown adequate distance to separate from other uses. They're also putting up the fencing to help, one, secure the site and also screen it from residential uses and the church that's behind it there. We do have a few conditions that we've put in the staff report, and I can share those with you if you'd like to see those.
I think it'd be good to see those. Just so everybody's on the same page.
First condition is this bullet point here, lighting to be screened and shielded from adjacent residential uses, and intensity should be of an acceptable lumen standard. Mobilize and coordinate the installation of road width, curb gutter, and sidewalk with Christian Life Church. You may not know, I believe it might be in the staff report, but there was a deferral agreement with Christian Life Church to defer putting in the curb gutter and sidewalk and possibly other utilities. I don't know if they have all the utilities there or not, but anyways, there was a deferral agreement for that, and Payson City Public Works feels as if this would be an ideal time to call on that deferral agreement and have all of that curb gutter, sidewalk, and public utility improvements put in and done at the same time with this project. Third bullet point, have an acceptable emergency response plan that will allow Payson City to appropriately respond and assist in an emergency. The reason why this is in there is this obviously needs to be a secure facility. And so Enbridge doesn't necessarily want to give access to the city, especially because they're going to want to take care of their situations in a case of emergency. But we also need to be able to have means to respond and help out in whatever method is most appropriate. And so that's why this is in here. Next bullet point, preserve the trail corridor and install the stalled trail along Spring Creek, working with Christian Life Church to do so along the entire width of the parcel. So this is a regional trail identified in the Payson City Trails Master Plan. And so we would ask that that be done.
Was the trail also included in the deferral agreement? I couldn't remember.
I don't know if a trail would have been in a deferral agreement. Do you know, Jill? With site improvement. Second to last bullet point, site plan approval process must be followed in addition to the conditional use permit approval, and land use transitions be imposed, including landscape buffers and a decorative precast concrete wall around the entire gas regulator site. So those would be the staff recommended conditions on this.
Any questions for Michael on that from anybody?
I'm interested. What's it going to do to the traffic down in that area? It's so bad now.
This would be very little other than construction.
Right.
And then whenever they go to monitor it, I could let one of those representing Enbridge maybe speak to that a little bit more, but construction might take a little bit of mobilization and detours and things like that. But as far as day-to-day operations, it should be very little. Is there any feedback from those representing Enbridge?
I can chime in if that's all right. This is an unmanned facility, actually. So they usually would probably do maintenance once a year at this site for like a day. So maybe one day a year, unless there's obviously an incident or something like that, they would be at the site, working with the equipment. But for the most part, these facilities are, largely unmanned. So there really wouldn't ever be traffic coming in and out of the facility. In addition to that, there's no lighting. So bullet point number 1 isn't a problem. So
They met that one.
Yeah.
That's it. That's one off the list. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
So mine would just be, is requiring the church to continue the curb gutter, sidewalk, and trail, does that put an undue burden on the church for this? I don't know what their situation is. I mean, obviously it'd be great to do it at the same time, but also do we say, hey, this triggers that, whereas it'd be more like development And this, I don't know, this really triggers development, but
Well, from what I understand, and I can't speak for Public Works entirely, but they felt as if this would be a reasonable time to trigger that since there's other improvements going there. There are stipulations in the deferral agreement that talk about when they can be. It's never been intended to be a perpetual, never happen type of thing. That is going to take communication with the church. We've been trying to reach out to them, and so we'll have to continue to do such, especially as this nears construction for those facilities. But
yeah, no, I agree. It makes opportune time, but also just, I don't know that a gas facility really should trigger
well,
the
we
improvements
also-
if required.
We
So
also threw them a bone by not triggering it when they added their giant addition too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, on that note, I mean, I do have a general question about the trail. I mean, I'm just kind of generally curious as to why Enbridge has, you know, as a condition of this conditional use permit, has an obligation to really do anything with the trail. I mean, it's this, I don't know. It just seems like it's out of the scope of the project that they're doing. And I was just kind of curious as to, you know, why it's being asked that, you know, that they construct, coordinate with Christian Life Church and have to take the responsibility of the construction of the trail through this parcel of land.
We don't have an answer for you, but definitely something that staff can work with you on that.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a concern of Enbridge's, and that's why Chad's on the call as well. I mean, I thought I would speak to it, but most of the other condition, you know, the other conditions we're perfectly okay with, but that was kind of added last minute. Like we hadn't, there had been no discussion up to this point with Enbridge about anything related to the trail, and then it was added to the staff report, and you know, it was something that we definitely want to talk about because we don't feel like, I don't know, I guess generally speaking, we don't feel like Enbridge should have to, one, pay or construct the trail, but even two, be responsible for coordinating with Christian Life Church to do so either.
That's a question for staff, I think, in my opinion. So, I'm sorry, I can't give you an answer right now.
It kind of goes back to who put it on the list to begin with. I mean, what's the reasoning behind it?
in the staff report,
Right.
so that staff, I drafted this staff report after staff discussion about
Okay.
it. So we would love to have the trail constructed. In the very least, we need to ensure that that trail right of way will be preserved. And so if it's not reasonable for this trail to be constructed with this development, in the very least, the easement and the right of way should be preserved for that. So
Understood.
I'm not sure that would impact Enbridge's construction at all, other than
no,
just
it's quite a
talking
ways
to the
away
church
from-
and making sure that they preserve whatever width is needed for the trail. So,
Yeah, from what I understand, looking at the site plan, there's at least 50 some feet, maybe more from the
Retaining.
creek center line to where the fence would be for the Enbridge facility.
so it shouldn't be a problem preserving that corridor, whatever that may be. So, Commissioner Brinkerhoff, you're not in the building. Do you have any questions or comments?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Well, we have a choice to make. We can recommend approval of the requested conditional use permit with conditions, and they can be what's stated in the staff recommendations, or they can be additional or less. We can make any recommendation we want there. We can,
So I would just let you know, it's not a recommendation, it's a decision.
sorry, approval. We can make an approval. Thank you very much. We can consider approving if we feel like there's some other detrimental impacts, we can approve it with additional items to be done. And we can also deny the conditional use permit.
So, I'll add to that. You can only deny it if you cannot come up with reasonable conditions to mitigate any detrimental impacts.
Thank you. Any comments? I need a motion.
So I move we approve the conditional use permit, seeing that the lighting's not an issue. I do recommend whether staff or somebody still reaches out to Christian Life Church to see if we can get curb gutter sidewalk all along the whole project, but not being a requirement of the conditional use permit. Also, the other staff conditions of getting the emergency response, and then at least preserving the trail corridor and ensuring that the future trail won't be impacted by the project here. And then that the landscape buffer and decorative concrete fencing be installed as looks like they've planned for, as well as staff recommendation.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call. Commissioner Brinkerhoff.
Yes.
Commissioner Frisbee.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Commissioner Gittleman.
Yes.
Commissioner Hamuli.
Yes.
Commissioner Beecher, yes. That is approved. Ready to go.
So those of you with the Enbridge, that being said, the approval's there with the conditions that were stated. We'll be able to move forward with a site plan application process, and that should be pretty streamlined because we've already looked at a lot of the site plans with this conditional use permit. So thank you.
Appreciate everybody being involved.
Yep, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you joining us. We're down to item 6, which is commission reports, staff reports, and training. Do you have any training for us?
We do have training. And then also just to mark your calendars, there'll be the South Valley training in November. I think it's going to be like the second week in November, somewhere in there, but just
Where's it going to be at?
Utah County is doing it. I'm not sure where that's going to be at this time, but
But it's Utah County that's hosting.
correct.
You said the 2nd of November?
I believe it's the second week of November. We'll get solidified dates and time for you and location when that comes about, but just kind of keep your calendar available for that. Any other reports from you, Marty? We don't have anything else other than the training that we can do. So
No other training?
we do have training. No other staff reports.
Why don't we do the training?
Okay.
Commissioner, is there anybody that needs to before anything else? Nothing from you either, Commissioner Brinkerhoff? I just want to make sure you're still there. Haven't fallen asleep.
Mike's not on.
Commissioner Brinkerhoff, do you have anything to respond to?
I do not.
Okay, good. Let's hear the training.
Okay. So this is largely benefit for Rick being a brand new member, but it's always good to brush up on things. And so we tried to look at these at a very elementary level. And so hopefully this will be helpful to you, but in the very least, it's a good reminder. So oh, it's all the way at the end. Okay.
Sweet. Training's over.
So, Planning Commission basics. This is not all the basics. This is some basics. So these are a few things that we want to talk about tonight. The public forum portion of the meeting, using staff, motions, best practices, when to remand a request, and what are impact fees. But first, we've got some planning jargon terms jeopardy. So, does anybody know what these terms are?
Yes,
So the first one, NIMBY, what's that one?
not in my,
What is not in my backyard?
Very good. You get 100. I don't know what 100 is, but you get 100 of it.
of whatever it is.
Yes. Not in my backyard. What about CCRs or CCNRs? And symbol Rs. Codes, covenants, and restrictions. For 200, Alex, what does grandma stand for?
Misspelled grandma.
Nope, that is not correct.
Good, I got minus 200, whatever that is.
Minus 200 points that go towards credits that you can return for coupons later.
Okay, good. Government Records and something Act. What's the M stand for?
Close. Government Records Access Management Act.
Access Management, that's what it is. Okay.
So if somebody says they are making a grandma request, it's not to find out more about your grandma. It's they want to have some government records provided to them. Okay.
The federal version of that is called FOIA.
Thank you for the input. Public forum. What is it? What is it not? Thoughts before I put some bullet points down on here.
It's not a debate. It's not question and answer.
Okay. It's not a debate. It's not question and answers. Anything else?
It is a chance for the public to express their concerns or approval of something that's happening.
Okay. Yep. A chance for the public to share information. Time for the public to voice concerns.
You need to put on there, it's also a time for the public to praise accolades or something.
I probably should have put that on there, but it's not.
No, but it is a time for them to say they like it.
Sure.
And
That
that
they
is-
like what's going on in the community. They
Right.
appreciate something that's happening. Sure.
Or that what they're there for the public forum is to say something good. So
Yep. It is not a public hearing.
that's correct.
And as Ryan said, it's not a question and answer session. And it's not a time to discuss policy, code, or land use decisions. That doesn't mean they can't ask things like that, because that would be a time when we could say, thank you for your input. We recommend that you meet with staff and we can get some of those answers for you. Any other comments or questions on public forum? I'll give you one more tidbit. It's not a requirement to have a public forum for planning commissions. We have it anyways as a courtesy, but anyway. Some more planning jargon terms. Jeopardy. Let's go. Okay. What does Lulu mean for 300 of whatever it is?
Yeah, we're gonna luau. Where did Lulu come from? Land use something, Utah.
So Lulu is locally unwanted land use. Very familiar, similar with the NIMBYs that don't want anything. What about TOD?
Means something different in aviation. Sorry. It's top of descent. Pretty sure that's not what we're talking about there. So,
Timeout demanded, is that what you said? Oh, timeout dad. Transit-oriented development. What about ADU? Accessory dwelling unit. Yeah, well, that was a little too technical. For 400, this is a big one. What does MAG stand for?
Mountain Land Association of Governments.
Ooh, I should have made that one 200 for you. Okay.
You're above water.
I'm back positive.
That's right. So next topic, use staff with the following: to clarify code, to provide context, to provide a professional opinion. This is something that can be useful, as you can see what's written there, to provide a clear understanding of a zone, or to clarify differences between one code section and another, or to clarify planning language. Under the provide context, this is helpful for Planning Commission and the public to understand staff comments, applicant proposals, or why a request is what it is. To provide a professional opinion, this is helpful justification for a possible motion. It may be helpful for staff to clarify and say something that a planning commissioner is thinking but can't articulate. Any other reasons why you'd want to use staff and don't say mow your lawn?
Jill has one.
I was just gonna go back to the acronyms, to give an example of this, is on some of those acronyms, you didn't know what they were, right? So the chances that the public doesn't
Doesn't.
know what those are either are higher, right? So I think just one thing to mention on that is we find as planners, we find ourselves all the time using land use jargon and acronyms, and we would all do it in our professions. I mean, you even talked about, different, acronyms for the federal government, with records requests. I thought one that you would bring up is like CUP. We say CUP, we need conditional use permit. You might think Central Utah.
That's the Central Utah project.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so I think it's going to what Michael's saying here. Sometimes we find ourselves getting in that realm of saying, oh, we know what a TOD it is, or we know what an ADU is. And sometimes we need to realize that even if there's no one in the room, somebody's going to watch this video in the future, right? Someone might be at home, bored and just say, I want to know what's going on in the city. And they're not going to know what those terms mean. So it doesn't hurt to just say, okay, let's just, for discussion's sake, let's say what CUP means. Then we can use CUP the whole rest of the meeting if we want to, but there's got to be that definition. So somebody that's here in the room, or somebody that's watching in the future, they understand what. So, and then that's where Michael's going here, is use staff for that as well. As commissioners, if you know what it is, you're welcome to share that information, or you can look to staff and say, will you provide an explanation of what that is?
Okay. Let's do some more Jeopardy jargon.
Oh,
What does it mean by HOA?
disaster.
That might be another name
I
for
mean,
it.
one acronym is home, oh shoot, now I just lost.
Homeowners Association.
Homeowners Association.
That's what we were looking for 100. Good job. What about MPO?
I'm trying to think of it in this term.
Police on the way.
That's close,
How do
but
you
no
know that,
cigar for
Henry?
200. Metropolitan Planning Organization. What about PID?
Public Improvement District.
Public Improvement District. Very good. What does R-1-9 stand for?
Residential.
One
Single
unit per
family,
9,000 square
9,000
foot.
square foot.
There we go.
90
That's,
feet of
that's what I was
frontage.
looking for.
90 foot of frontage.
90
all
foot of
those kind of
frontage. Yeah.
things.
There we go. All right. Motion best practices. And we are not talking about this kind of motion. Okay, so making a motion in public needing some basics. Discussion should happen before any motion. It could be helpful to write your motion down, or perhaps use a staff recommended motion. Make it clear and understandable. Motion is made, then a second is made, and then you can have some further discussion. After further discussion is what?
A vote.
Roll call vote. Okay. What happens if there's no second to a motion?
The motion dies.
Motion dies. Very good. What happens if there's not a majority on the vote?
Motion dies.
Motion dies. Okay, very good. Some more jargon terms because we can't get enough. Jill spoiled this one. What's a CUP? And just so you know, it was on the agenda as an action item anyway.
Question. On the majority, my understanding is it has to be 4 of us no matter what. So if there's only 4 commissioners present, it wouldn't be the majority of those 4 commissioners present. It still has to be the majority of the commission. The 4 would have to be, or is that wrong?
To have a quorum,
We
you
have
would
to have
need to
4.
have 4 minimum.
Yeah.
I think it would just be a majority
Of those
of the
present.
quorum.
Okay.
So that would have to be 3 in the case of a quorum of
Quorum
4,
4.
right?
Okay.
So CUP, conditional use permit. What does PO-1 mean?
Professional office. One zone.
One unit.
Professional
Yeah.
office. I don't know why the 1 is there, but the professional
It-
office
It's
zone.
because there's a PO2, isn't there?
I don't-
There's not?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's because all the others have numbers in them.
So that it's not left out when it goes to school. Okay. This one for 500. This is the biggie. What is Arulupa? If I can even say that right.
Residential land use something.
Okay, you lose 500 for that one. Anybody else have a guess?
Not if we're gonna lose.
Yeah, but you don't even know what you're losing.
It don't matter.
So this one you probably won't hear of much, but it's a very important act. Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act. This basically is an act that solidifies not being able to discriminate against religious institutions. Now, obviously that's First Amendment stuff, but the federal government felt as if this needed to go further, and there was several court cases that had that come up, and that's why this act came about. What does R-3-10 stand for?
Zone in a city besides Payson, because that's not in our code.
Very good. Nothing. This was made up. Yes. Okay. To remand or not to remand? That is the question. When is remanding a request appropriate?
You need additional information.
Okay. I think we got that one right. Oh, they both come together. Darn it. Okay. So if it's unclear and the planning commission feels as if more information is needed, if new information is presented at the meeting that may change an outcome, can you think of other reasons why something should be remanded? Or could be remanded, not necessarily should.
If it should just be denied, then it shouldn't be remanded, but that's, I don't know, that's really.
Hey, you're cheating. We're going ahead here. All right. So it should not be remanded to delay an application or avoid a decision. And if it's unpopular or controversial. Any other reasons you can think of to do a remanding of a decision? I think these two pretty much sum it up. You could probably find something else, but it would probably relate to
fall
one
in
of those
same
two.
areas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if remanded, then what?
Staff gets more work.
Yeah, goes back to staff.
That's essentially what it is. But so you got to give staff and the applicant clear guidance as to what is expected before this item returns back on the agenda. Otherwise, it's just kind of some spinning wheels. So questions on remanding?
So basically what you're telling us is if we've got a question, we want you to be able to, I guess, be able to clarify it for us on this.
If it can't be clarified within the meeting, then yes, especially if there's like new information or
Or if
things that haven't
additional
been
information
reviewed.
is needed. Say they didn't have a traffic study and you wanted to make sure they had a traffic study. You could remand it back until the traffic study is done. But you're going to say that we need the traffic study before we can make a decision.
Basically, we're just clarifying what we're.
Right.
Can you remand it because there's a lot of people in the audience saying they hate this thing and they don't want to see it happen in their community, but
That would be NIMBY.
That would be NIMBY. Can you remand it for that?
No,
No. Why is that?
because
That's that difficult or unpopular, controversial decision, right?
Yep.
It's not a beautiful decision you have to make, but one's got to be made, right? Okay,
somebody's got to take the heat.
that's right. That's why you guys make the big bucks up there.
We do. We make phenomenal money.
It's called a Christmas turkey? That's what it is?
Hey, and
Okay.
an occasional Jimmy John, so we're doing well there.
Okay. Impact fees. What are impact fees?
Something that the planning commission doesn't worry about.
Okay, let's talk about them a little bit. They are a one-time charge charged to individuals building or developing new construction within the city, an upfront charge during building permitting, strictly regulated, pays for new development impact on, and these are various ones within Payson City that we have impact fees
We
for.
need another one on there, by the way.
We do, but we have not finished the impact fee study for that one. So,
Yeah, we need one, at least one more list on there, one more name on there.
yep, I would say roads would be one that's needed, but we don't have that study done. Again, going back to strictly regulated, there's a process before you can even implement an impact fee. What are they not?
They're not user fees.
No, not
No
user
fees.
fees. They're not a tax.
No.
They're not paid by each resident. They're not held on to forever. This is a big one, coming back to the strictness of it. There's a timeline in which they need to be spent on approved.
They should be spent on
Infrastructure
the
and-
impacts
Yep.
as soon as possible.
They're not added to the city general fund. There can probably be a few more things that they're not, but those are the ones I listed. Why are we talking about impact fees? You've probably never had this discussion before, and Kirk was eager to say that we don't have to deal with them, but it's not true. Why?
It was brought up like a couple of months ago based on someone's suggestion from other cities that are implementing them. That we should incorporate that into our
So
planning.
from what
discussion.
we've been told most recently by, I believe is our city recorder, is that impact fees are part of a land use regulation. And so that being said, this body needs to have input to provide to city council to make a final decision on approving impact fees.
Well,
And
that will be new.
Yep. And from what Jill's told me, we're going to have one of these coming up in the near future. Do you have a timeline of that? Any idea?
Anyway, very soon.
Is it the one I'm talking about?
An opportune time. No, we're actually working on, we
The,
just
the
updated,
electrical?
we just updated water and sewer. And we're in the process of updating parks and recreation and public safety.
Okay.
And so you will see parks and recreation and public safety within the next month.
And hopefully transportation is not too far behind that.
Not too far behind that, we'll see. But yes, that is something that's new that planning commission has not looked at before.
Yeah, it's we've not ever done that. So.
So we skimmed the top and we dive in a little bit more when that's on your agenda, but we want to give you a little idea of something new that you guys will be discussing and forwarding to recommendation.
All
We're-
right.
We're so excited because that will mean, never mind. It'll bring people in. Maybe.
Especially if there's public hearings at the planning commission for those. So
Mhm.
we'll stay tuned. Last of all, the best slide of all is just going off into the sunset. Any questions? I know that this was pretty light on discussion items. Are there questions about city codes or order of operations or anything that maybe it's been bugging you, or things that you just maybe don't know that you want to have some clarity on?
I have a question.
Okay.
So it relates to when we get the emails with the package of things that are going to be discussed at the next meeting. We don't see, or maybe I don't think when we get those, we don't see the recommendation from the staff when we see the packet until we get to the next meeting and then it's presented. Sometimes I feel like,
That's not true.
So that's
The staff
it's in
report always
staff
has a
report.
recommendation.
does it have always have a
Yeah.
recommendation?
It always has had a recommendation in it. Well,
I don't
I'll
think
take that back.
I was going to say it
Most
doesn't
of the time,
always.
it's had a recommendation.
Okay. My question is, based on protocol, is it possible to elaborate on the staff recommendation to us before the meeting, or is that a conflict of interest in citing further justification on the recommendation? So that way, like in tonight's notes, it said, so you can write down your motion.
Mhm.
If and I'm just asking if this breaks protocol, if the justification or the explanation for the staff recommendation is presented to us a little bit more elaborately, then we can formulate our language for our motions ahead of coming to the meeting. Does that break any protocol if you guys
If you want clarity, by all means, you're welcome to call or email or come in and we can talk to you about
Remember that slide earlier in his presentation about what is staff good for?
not much, but
Well, and that's why sometimes if I'm throwing something
Hey,
out,
that's how I remembered it. Okay.
yeah, just as far as even like last time, right? When we ended up remanding back to staff the discussion and the applicant saying, well, you can either, and it was the lawyer, you can either approve it or you can just deny it so we can go to another city. I would have liked to have understood the remand portion a little bit more in depth prior to sitting through that.
and we can
presentation.
discuss that particular issue if you want to. We can discuss that further outside of this planning commission meeting.
Okay.
But yes, part of the intent of that was if you notice the timeline that was in the history section of the staff report, that timeline was like 5 pages long. And that was not an exhaustive list. We've been working with that applicant for over 2 years. And some of it just kept going back to the applicant wanted certain things and we wanted certain things. And it didn't feel like we were ever going to come to a full agreement. And so we wanted to bring it forward to spur that decision, whether it was remand, deny, or recommend going to city council for approval. So,
But yeah, that's just what I wanted to make in those staff recommendations. If a little bit more can be included to help us, then for Marty's sake, when I make very, very vague motions, that I can write down things before I come, just to know that Marty will be able to record everything a little bit clearer.
so this is for Marty's sake. That's what you're saying, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we should, in this, you can see planning commission actions. This was today's staff report for the conditional use permit. There should always be something there in bold that says staff recommendation. Very rarely is there a staff report given to you where there isn't a staff recommendation. If there isn't one, that's because staff really doesn't have an opinion one way or the other. But traditionally, we're going to have some professional feedback for you that we feel it should be one thing or another.
Yeah, I was going to say, in
And-
the years I've been doing this, it's been very, very rare where there wasn't a staff recommendation.
And then
And-
I would say that this is very small, 1 or 2 sentences here. But if you go back into, for example, this part has a staff recommendation right above showing all of those conditions. There's staff comments that are in here. So you can read those things and see why staff is thinking the way they are. And if you still don't understand, by all means, give us a call, send us an email, come in, whatever you want to do. because we want you to be the most informed as you can be. So
Thank you.
other questions, other land use topics or things that are just pressing on your minds, any Jeopardy questions you want to share with us?
Yeah, not in a public meeting.
Camry, did you have any you wanted to ask?
Nope, I appreciated the review.
Might it be good just to cover what we can and can't discuss outside of this meeting as a quorum, just
And that's
very
probably good
briefly?
For,
Okay.
For
Rick's.
that, we can't meet as a group of 4 or more to discuss anything like that outside of this meeting.
We
because
can't,
of-
we can't form a quorum and discuss it.
yes,
I think that's the
without being in a
critical
public
thing.
meeting.
Because you're going to have opinions, you're going to have thoughts, that sort of thing. That's fine. There's no reason why you can't discuss things outside of a meeting, but the biggest thing is you shouldn't have an informal meeting, and you definitely shouldn't have a quorum, because that is against the law. So what you can and can't discuss outside of a meeting, I would say anything that is being presented in a staff report or the attachments or anything like that, that's open to a grandma request. So that would be stuff that you can discuss out. I would say how you're leaning on making a decision, I would say don't discuss that, especially with other planning commissioners, because that's not your opinion shouldn't necessarily influence them outside of a meeting. By all means, you can voice that in the meeting when it's happening, because that helps everybody know and understand and make decisions and formulate discussion. But we don't want to have preconceived notions of how a vote's going to go outside of a meeting.
Any other comments or questions? I'm sure we'll have some more later when we get some more in-depth training too. So,
Okay, that's all we have.
thank you. We need one last motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor by yes.
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 Thank you. And thank you all for coming.